Back in biceps day, baby. We're going to do 3 sets. Third set should hopefully be to failure. We're going to mix it up with some bicep work and just go back and forth. All right, second set, we did 66 pounds on the first set. I've added 44. We are doing 3 sets. Hopefully the third set will be failure. And we usually go about 50% on the first set. Second set should be anywhere from 70 to 80, 90%. And then you want to try to get that max. So again, I've almost doubled what I've been doing. So I had 66 pounds first, added another 44, so we're up to, let's see, 66 and 44, yeah, we're up to 110 pounds here, so give it a go. So in that second set, you should definitely get closer to failure, but not actually failing. If you're failing on the second set, you might be doing too much weight. You might want to cut back a little bit to get 10 real good repetitions. And then on your third set, you really want to go to that failure, so you want to bump it to weight. If you can push it through 10 and you're not failing, you need to bump up that weight and get it in the third set. Now, I don't have anyone here spotting me. Usually if you have a spotter, you can get through 2, 3, or a few more reps because they can help push and alleviate some of that weight. So at this point, I'm by myself. I'm in the basement. I'm not at the gym today with Danny, so I'm making do with what I got, right? So we'll be back in a second with the third set. All right, here we are. Third set should be my failure set. I've added 22 more pounds, so 110 up to 132. Like I said, I had started at 66. And then I added 44, and so in reality I had 66 with these two, okay, 33s and 33s, and then this is 22 and 11, so basically I was at 50% first, and I'm at twice my warm-up. You always want to do a warm-up, but you don't have to take all day doing this. So one of the things that I like at the gym there's a little lap thing here where you can actually get your legs underneath it, and it holds you from like being lifted up. I find that when I'm doing it at home, I feel like I'm getting lifted up a little bit. So it is what it is, we make do, right? As long as you're taking action, that's the key. Losing form, so I'm not going to get too much here. But this is where a friend would help. Not as much as I can do, but again, maintenance failure. The pros and cons are kind of working out by yourself, but again, at least it's having some benefits there. I don't know if you saw some of the muscle. Maybe you just saw some movement in my skin, but hey, I can feel it. All right, so the other part, we're gonna do some bicep work. We'll go with 3 sets. Usually I just start with the bar and I just keep adding, just kind of like I did with the lat pull down. I don't necessarily go to 50% and then go, double it up, but I end up, I don't know if I got a strain down in my lower muscle, my elbow, somewhere the head of the tendon, and so it's been bothering me for a while, so I try not to push it too much, but I still want to get some of that workout in. So a little warm-up set just with the bar, 45 pounds. We'll keep adding. I'm not going to pause at this time just to show you how much time actually goes by. I only took a couple seconds. I added the weights on the, again, the lat pull down. And so you don't really have to take a lot of time. Again, it's all built on 7-minute workouts. You don't really have to spend a lot of time if you're actually just talking about the time that you're actually using your muscles. It's not that much, okay? It's not that much. Well, probably burn out at less than twice. So I started out, again, the bar here is 45. I likely will not do 90 pounds. Again, I don't want to keep straining my elbow. I want to work it, but I want to also let it heal and repair too. And the key really is stimulation and failure. So you don't want to have a lot of time in between. You want to give yourself a good minute of rest. But the key is failure. It doesn't matter at what point you fail as long as you're actually failing. Because then that muscle has gone to the peak of what it could do. And then the next thing you know, you have 10 days to recover and to get it to repair, regrow. As long as you're taking in the right nutrients, you're getting a healthy diet, but also taking maybe some of your whey protein powder. So here's set number 2. I added 22 more pounds, so we're up to 67. Even there, I'm already coming close to failing. A little more rest time in between. Because again, I've just gone through with just a minute or two in between doing the lat pull down and doing the bicep curls. So again, I've already had a warm-up set. In reality, could I start it out with a little bit lower weight on the bar than going higher? That's fine. You don't always have to do 3 sets. But as you saw, I had to kind of take a break there for a second, catch my breath, get some more blood flow into my arms, and pump out those others. You also notice I'm like flipping myself back a little bit, trying to use a little leverage. That can have its pros and cons. It might help you get through a couple, but it also doesn't give you the exact benefit of just focusing on the muscle. And so sometimes that could be an indicator that maybe it's too much weight. You also don't want to strain your back when you're doing it. So we're not going to add too much more on this last set. Probably another 11 pounds, 5.5s on each side. So that'll put us at, what do we say, 45, 67, 78. The alternative, of course, you can do it with resistance bands. Just stepping on your resistance bands, and if you have the set with the 5 bands on it, just work your way up. Start with 1 band, go to 2 bands, go to 3 bands, and keep working your way up. You can also change the width of your stance, which allows more resistance. It's a shorter pull, so you got to pull it farther actually, or shorter band length, so you have to pull it farther. As far as the lat pull down, if you have something that you can hook over, maybe even a loop, or if you screw a loop in the ceiling, you can do that, and you can pull down your resistance bands, just something that you can hook around. You want to make sure it's not something that's going to fall off. All right, here we go. We'll see how many I can get through. This is the 3rd set. I'll be happy with about 3, but we'll see. And again, this would be another case where when you see me start to fail, I might only get up this far, but that's where a partner could help lift it up. Just taking off a little bit to, again, totally get that extra push to get towards real, true muscle failure where you literally can't do it anymore. But you try to go as far as you can. Again, you always want to be safe if you're by yourself. I typically do not ever squat by myself because I don't want injury on the back. I don't want something to fall on me, or so I would do that maybe with a Smith machine where you could actually latch it on But typically having someone spot you at all times is usually pretty good. Number one, it helps, a little camaraderie, a little competition maybe, and also again gives you the ability to have someone pull or pull down on the lat machine and help to pull up the bar, just giving you some extra support. And like they say, teamwork makes the dream work, right? All right. At that point, you just get to it's like you're hitting a wall. And like I said, if I had someone there lifting me up what I couldn't take, I'd be able to get through at least 2 more, maybe a third one, and get that extra push to help to see more growth down the road. So if you can find a partner, work out with them. If you can't, not a big deal. So hopefully you've enjoyed the workout. All right, so the resistance bands may come, depending on where you get them from, may come with a little, I'm not sure what you really call it, but comes a little part that you can actually slam into a door jamb. And so I'm just gonna pop this over the door. I can get it to squeeze through there. It's gonna fit behind the door. And when you shut your door, it's actually strapped in there. And so you can do a variety of different workouts. And depending on your resistance where you're starting, if I'm just starting out, maybe I'm going to take off a couple of these. So like right now, I'm just going to take off the black ones. The black ones in this case are the biggest ones. And so they're going to provide the most resistance in there. And so if I don't have a gym, but I want to do, some lat work and also some upper body back work, I'm going to do some pulls like this, okay? And like I said, I'm at a higher position. If I go down on my knees, I'm going to get more of that lat pull down work like I did. I can get closer and pull it down and just work those different angles. But I already did that in the other room. I want to get more of a horizontal work to it. And I could lower this. This is at about my eye level where the thing is stuck in the door. So I can actually lower that. And so it's not going to be the same as doing it with the weights. I'll know exactly how much. But if you actually add up, you can actually look probably at the bag that you bought your resistance bands in, and it will tell you how much each band is worth as far as pounds. Now, the closer I go, the easier it is. If I step farther back, it's going to be a little more resistant, but I'm almost so tight that I can't even pull it just based on that fact. So I have 4 of the bands. I can feel it in a couple different places. I've gone beyond the 10. Depending on your fitness level, maybe depending on your age, depending on where you are, start with less bands, but maybe do more reps. And so especially if you have issues where, maybe you have a shoulder surgery or shoulder problem, maybe you have back problems, start with less material, but just do more reps. And that can be the case even with the free weights. I could have stayed at 45 pounds and just done 45 and 45 and 45 and maybe had, 25 or 30 reps and still got tired. The key again is going to be failure. It's not always about how much you can lift, but the fact that you bring those muscles to failure. You will recognize though that the next time you go to the gym, and maybe even 2 cycles more, not necessarily the next time, because the next time you're doing a different cycle or a different fitness activity. So like today is day 1 of my cycle again. It's back in biceps. I'm gonna have a day off, and then I'm gonna go back to the gym on Friday or work from home on Friday, and it's going to be shoulders and forearms. Then I'm going to take a day off, then it's going to be hamstrings and calves. Then I'm going to take a day off and it's going to be chest and tricep, take a day off, and then quads, and then it restarts again. Okay, so every 10 days I'll be back to my biceps and my back and my lats. So you have lots of time to recover, lots of time to regrow. The key is failing, but if you know you are doing your max at 10, again at a 10 rep maximum, then what you'll notice is the next time you go to the gym, you'll be seeing, especially if you have someone helping you, you'll be noticing those growths and those gains. And yeah, you might start to peak, But again, once you have those people pushing you there, assuming you're, again, taking your protein and having your excess maximum amount of protein that you should be, which we recommend is about 1 gram for every pound of lean body mass that you want to have as far as muscle mass. So for example, like right now I weigh 200 pounds, give or take. I would prefer to lose, some of the extra pounds I have here. And in reality, if I could be like 185, so like in college I was about 175, 180 pounds. If I could be 185 or 190, I would want to have 190 grams of protein per day, or even twice that, depending. Okay, the more you have, the more apt you are to build those muscle masses again. But remember, protein isn't just for muscle; it's for a lot of other metabolic activities. It's for all of your enzymes and hormones too. So it does play a crucial role to have that in there. So I did well over 10 with the 4. I'm going to click the black one back in. The black one is the biggest one. And so I'm adding quite a bit of weight or resistance in this case. And of course, I think I did these on the wrong ones, but there we go. Just get whatever good base you have there. And you want to try to be able to just not be pulled. I don't want to pull myself into the door, okay? You want to try to keep a good form and just try to pull back and pinch your shoulder blades together, because that's the real thing here. We want to actually do a back workout, not just a bicep and forearm workout. And so make sure you're pulling your back together, pinch those shoulder blades back together again, and you should feel it starting to tighten in your back. And so, again, I didn't get to failure yet. I'll probably do some more, but I just, again, wanted to point out how you can do and manipulate and use things like the resistance bands at home. And so, like I said, if you want it higher, you're gonna be more pulling down a little bit lower. So you might have something, you go to the hardware store, you can buy little eyelet rings where you can actually screw them into your ceiling. Let's say you're in the basement, you have all of the, floorboard supports and the beams. You can actually screw one in there so you can actually, go down. Maybe you'd have to go on your knees to do it, and to get an extra bigger, better pull to pull down. In this case, from the door, I can change the range. I can actually have it on the ground, and I can pull up too, okay? So we can change where it's located. I'm not gonna do that in this case. But again, I can put it at the bottom to have more of an upward row. And so whether you have the resistance bands, whether you have the actual weights, or you're going to a gym, the more variety and the more different things you can do, the better off you're gonna see some of those changes, because you're gonna start to work different muscle groups. And like I was talking about in the other video with like the lat pull down at my house, there's times where I'm lifting and I'm physically like pulling myself up, versus at the gym I have the little pad that goes over your legs, and that prevents me from being lifted up and gives me a little more support and leverage. So again, there's benefits to doing both. At the gym I talked about doing a Smith machine, or a machine where I can actually lock in the squats, where doing it at home I would have to rely more on my balance. So again, the more different things you can do and stimulate different muscle groups, the better you're going to be in the long run. All right, so hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you take action and get your workout in. All right, we'll talk to you later.